So let's go through each one of these. The first one is going to be the funding source approval task. What you'll do is you'll click on the Done box, and there will be a task description provided. This will be the place where you will attach your funding source request form. So like we've done before, you'll click on the vanilla envelope. You'll go to Browse and Select. You will select your funding source request form, Indiana Department of Alpha. So I personalized the naming convention a little bit. You'll have a hyperlink populate the file name on the top line. Click Close to complete this process. And then you'll see a hyperlink populated with a blue box, white check mark. Any notes to approver about the funding source request form, and if nothing needs to be updated, you can simply click Save to complete this process. And the final task we'll explore is the SBA Analyst Agency Allotment Control or State Match request. It should be completed just like the SBA Finance, so we'll just go through it right now. We'll click on the Done box to open up the task and read the description. The most important part about this allotment control task is the notes to approver. This is where the agency eCivis user will put the 10-digit budget journal IDs, one for your allotment, allotment control, and the appropriations. Once you're finished, you'll click Save to complete this process. Once the SBA Analyst Agency Allotment Control task is completed, that task will disappear from the pending task table, as you can see in front of us. The last line you'll see is the contract close task, and that will be left there until the ending of the project, and we'll need to begin the closeout process. So we'll just leave that one alone. Completing these two automatic tasks will trigger the approval process with SBA. The completion of the finance task and the allotment control task will allow the SBA representative to provide the Indiana State Agency its funding source number ID for the eCivis project and grant. The funding source number ID will be communicated to the Indiana State Agency in two ways. First, with an automatic email generated by the grants network. In that email, there's a note section at the bottom of the message where there will be the funding source ID number. Additionally, the SBA representative will enter the funding source number ID in their internal grant ID field. So what you can do is come up to the contracts and accounts, click on that tab, and then you'll see down here, it'll be up to SBA to populate that internal grant ID line with the funding source ID numbers. Now, the funding source numbers will not be labeled funding source numbers, but rather, as I mentioned before, will be on the internal grant ID line. So let's review what the internal grant ID number looks like. As you can see, it's the allocating BU number along with the funding source number, followed by the owning BU number. So the funding source ID number will be the one in the middle. So for example, in our substate transfer internal grant ID number, here's the funding source ID number.